Hi, my name is Aaliyah, and I am doing my project on jazz funerals. A jazz funeral begins at a church or funeral home and leads the way to the cemetery. Typically, mourners are joined by a band that plays live music and starts off heavy and sad but turns celebratory, in which everyone participates and dances. These are just some definitions that I have. Culture, the custom, art, social institutions, and achievements of a nation or social group. You have funerals, the ceremonies honoring a dead person, typically involving a burial or cremation. Death rituals, which provides individuals in the community with time to process loss and acclimate to the changes that come with loss. Then the morgue, which is a place where bodies are kept to be identified or claimed as deceased. And dying, which means gradually ceasing to exist in life. The jazz funerals originated in New Orleans, and it is considered to be the birthplace of the jazz genre. And jazz in New Orleans has taken on various forms of different types of jazz music that some would say were borrowed from earlier traditions. The tradition of having music at funerals was said to come from African cultures, and it shows the patterns and celebrations of life. The 18th century had a lot of bands that had come into style, and jazz was one of the most prominent ones in New Orleans, and it had started at first to perform jazz live music in parades and big celebratory gatherings. Upon research, the idea was that the tradition was not welcomed by the Catholic Church, and this was because the Catholic Church did not think that music should be played at the funeral because it wasn't seen as spiritually okay under the eyes of God. These are three concepts that relate to the book. Chapter 2 being historical beliefs in death and related practices. Chapter 3, cultural and religious beliefs in death-related practices. And Chapter 8, grief, loss, and bereavement. The whole purpose of a jazz funeral is to celebrate life after death, and it's believed in jazz funerals that a proper funeral was needed for the spirit of the person that died to move on into the afterlife. Over time, the jazz funeral has become one of New Orleans' most honored funeral ceremonies and celebrations, that now it is respected by others, and a lot of people see it as something they would like for their own personal funeral arrangement. I myself would not be opposed to having a jazz funeral. I thought it was very interesting to learn about it and find out that this is something that could be done even in death and after death. Thank you.